Well, welcome. Today's objectives for the presentation is the key points of the skin's function. What is the ideal pH? And we'll also examine the product ingredients suitable for balancing the skin's pH. Hello, I'm Pamela Springer. This presentation I felt was very important. As a previous school owner, we had curriculum that we had to follow. And of course, in the beginning, students didn't see the reasons that we followed that particular path. The reason being is when you train somebody, you have to start with building the foundation and then building the first floor, the second, third, so forth and so on, depending what your drawings are, your architectural drawings. So I want to do that for you. I want to build you the best foundation possible for aesthetics. So when we talk about the skin's function, if you remember, you first learned about the skin types. You were taught what a normal skin revealed: oily, dry, and even combination. So this is where I want to begin, because when we speak about the pH of the skin, it's affected by the skin types. Is that skin dry? Is that skin oily? Is it combination? I'm leaving out normal because in the 24 plus years of practicing aesthetics, I have never seen a normal skin. Now, I'm sure it's out there, but in my 24 plus years, I have not seen that. So let's get started. So what we're going to speak about is correcting that hydrolypic film that is impaired because of one of those skin types. So we all know that the skin's protective barrier is referred to as the hydrolypic film that is definitely made up of the following. There's water, lactic acid, urocanic acid. Urocanic acid acts as an endogenous sunscreen. And when I use the word endogenous, I'm speaking within. So that acid helps to protect the cell's DNA from any sun damage. So it's a photoprotectant. You also have to have those fatty acids to create sebum. And that fatty acid is made up of cholesterol, triglycerides, omega-3s, and 6. Your endocrine gland secretes those amino acids. Now, that gland, you will find, secretes perspiration. So in that perspiration is your amino acids. Let's talk about the functions. The skin, one of the functions is the excretion. Of course, we know that's the sudoriferous gland. And as I said before, it excretes perspiration. When you excrete the perspiration, your skin is really detoxifying itself. It's taking that excess salt and those chemicals outside and those toxic components that your body is getting rid of, through that perspiration. We also have secretion. The skin secretes oil, and when it secretes the oil, it's trying to protect the surface of the skin. And protecting the skin from the outside elements are very important. So when you do have a balance of water and oil, now that skin has the perfect environment to not allow those outside elements like bacteria or the environment to influence it. The skin also, as we know, absorbs. So when you selectively put topical products and creams on the skin, it's going to absorb, and it usually absorbs through the pores, the hair follicles. And attached to those hair follicles, we know the sebaceous glands. The skin discharges carbon dioxide as part of the waste disposal. So these are the three areas, which is just a small overview of what the skin does. This overview is really for laying the groundwork of where we're going. So it excretes, secretes, and it also absorbs. So we were always taught in school that the pH of our skin to be normalized is 4.5 to 5.5. And this actually is going to discourage the growth of any kind of bacteria. So that pH is slightly acidic. When skin is alkaline, okay, it knocks out the pH and creates issues with the skin conditions like dermatitis, eczema, xerosis. These are conditions that if you tested with a pH strip, you'll find that skin is alkaline. This is actually your pH scale. So if something is neutral, and the only example I'm giving you is distilled water, it has to be at a temperature of 77 degrees for it to become neutral. The lower the acid products, the more the skin will be tightened, and also the granular and vascular activity will be slowed down. Now remember when we did de-incrustation, which was alkaline, it softened the debris and it helped to easily remove any excess oil, dirt, makeup from the skin. You were also able to soften the plugs within the pores so that it would make it easy to extract that debris that was in the pores. So when a product is alkaline, it increases the granular and the vascular activity. The water activity and the pH controls the enzymes, the protease enzymes in the stratum corneum. Now, the oil factor or the cholesterol ratio in protease inhibitors in the stratum corneum are also very important because it regulates the enzyme activity. The surface pH affects desquamation. It changes the pH so that it induces an abnormal desquamation. So if the pH is alkaline, you're going to find that there's a lack of water, there's a lack of oil, so it's going to result in the skin being very scaly. A lot of times it's due to overuse of soap. And of course, xerotic or dry skin is prevalent. And you will see conditions like eczema being created because of this dry skin. Desquamation. it is very important that you have enough water balance for the proteolytic enzyme to be activated to actually break down the desmosomes or corneodesmosomes, which is that glue-like substance between the cells. So subsequently, that corneocyte desquamation, and that's those dead cells, requires enough water content to function optimally. If you remember, and I'm taking you back to school, enzymes generally have an activator to make it actually do a natural desquamation. So there's two phases. The oil phase, which involves the sebaceous gland, which is the hydrophilic, the head of this diagram, as you can see, is hydrophilic, and it's mixed with the fatty acids, which I talked about, the omegas 3 and 6 triglycerides, and the cholesterols, making up that sebum into bilayers. So the epidermis is going to be slightly acidic. And when we talked about that earlier, I mentioned that our skin is slightly acidic. The natural moisturizer factor is the water phase. And the water phase are the tails. And do you see how the tails are attracting one another? But then you see the hydrophilic, the heads are actually allowing the water phase to stay within the layers of the skin. So this is how hydration is maintained by the perspiration that is secreted from the epidermal horny layer. Now that you have the balance of water and oil, your skin is protected from harmful bacteria. So it measures the balance of the hydrolipic film. But one thing for sure, environments can change all of that. And when it changes, you remove the useful bacteria, and now the unwanted bacteria is left on the skin to thrive. Sometimes nutrition plays, well, not sometimes, it plays a great role in skin and its function. Essential fatty acid deficiency, when it occurs when somebody is on a non-fat diet. The non-fat diet is not supplying the oil necessary to create the oil needed on the actual surface of the skin. So it's going to reduce the formation of that skin barrier, and this also reduce sebaceous secretion. The intrinsic reduction of sebaceous activity will be reduced considerably. Now visualize dry skin, lacking oil and water. It has no oil to lock the water in, so you're not going to get moisture content, and you're not going to get that occlusive covering that will allow that moisture to stay within the epidermal layers. So essential fatty acids basically are very essential for good skin health. So again, we'll go over the essential fatty acid deficiency to say that it reduces the formation of that hydrolipid film. It reduces the creation of a healthy acid mantle. It reduces the microflora, which is the good bacteria, the habitat of that bacteria, making it less favorable for bacteria to grow. And changes in the pH protection is diminished on the skin surface. So let's talk about lipid dry skin. You'll see lipid dry skin can be very red, irritating. It may itch. You'll have excess keratinization, a buildup of a lot of dead cells. You may have this dry plug, which are comedones, but remember there's no water, so it's this hard plug that's within the pores of the dry skin. The excess keratinization now produces transepidermal water layers. You have no oil to lock that moisture in. You'll find the skin having scaly patches, and usually it's around the nasolabial fold. And there'll be obvious signs of aging. Other skin disorders, because of the defective epidermal permeability of that barrier function, ectopic dermatitis, which I mentioned earlier, as eczema, psoriasis, dry skin, xerosis. Now, xerosis is extremely or excessively dry skin. The atopic dermatitis increases, like I said before, the transepidermal water loss. It lowers the water binding capabilities, and it's going to be a decrease in the ceramides, which the ceramides are the oils of the skin. What is a primary cause? A lot of the times, sodium lauryl sulfate that's in the cleansers is too alkaline for the skin. Overuse of a foamy cleansing agent, using the wrong cleanser for the basic majority skin type. You'll find that drying, your skin is tight, it stings after cleansing. Scrubs are one of the primary causes, and using the wrong type of mask. So a dry skin should never use a clay-based mask. Clay draws out. Clay draws, so you have no water, so what is it drawing out? You have no oil, what is it drawing out? A clay-based mask should be more for a oily skin, a comedonal acne skin, a pustular acne, to draw out debris from the skin. Acids, and when I'm talking about one of the primary causes with acid, we're talking about the professional acids. It can be a detriment to the acid mantle because if the skin is already dry. Think about, I live in Arizona, so let's think about the desert. When there's no water, it becomes it cracks. The earth is very dusty. So let's think of an acid chemical peel being put on something that's cracked. So you're going to get more irritation because that chemical peel is going to go into the crack and actually cause more redness. We talked about the overuse of surfactants. Fragrances, especially fragrances, is a detriment to Asian skin. They're highly sensitive. Another reason we talked about is a fat-free diet. Medication can be the culprit, especially if it's a diuretic. Your age, because everything is slowing down. And especially those that were once oily, as they age, it becomes dry. Menopause combined with incorrect skincare may be the primary cause. Long-term sun exposure, and very, I say, poor quality, inexpensive makeup that doesn't use the great ingredients. The ingredients being used are very drying. So this is a visual of a alkalinic skin type, which is a dry skin type. You see how red the inflammation, and when you determine what this client wants, you have to actually find out if she's willing to have a long course of treatment, because a skin condition or skin type like this, well, the condition now is all the redness and everything, but the skin type is dry. A short-term treatment is not going to resolve this issue. Darker skin, you're going to see very easily dry skin. It's going to be a grayish or ashen appearance. Also, it may be hyperpigmented due to somebody actually scratching the skin, because we mentioned it being very itchy. So that could be the cause for the condition. So we want to correct the dryness first and then work on the condition, which would be the pigmentation. So some of the things you want to avoid: products that contain alcohol, peppermint, menthol, mint, citrus, eucalyptus, and we said fragrance earlier. You don't want to expose your skin to hot water. It dries you out. Abrasive scrubs, like your clients may have a microdermabrasion at home. Any kind of scrub that has any nut fragments or contains the seeds of a fruit or a plant. Loofahs as well will dry the skin if you don't, after actually removing the dead cells, replenish it with a water-based product and a hydrating product, and then occlude it with an oil-based moisturizer or body cream. So some of your moisturizing ingredients are glycerin, hyaluronic acid. We know hyaluronic acid is very popular. Natural lipids, pseudoceramides. These pseudoceramides basically really are very moisturizing, and they also give the skin a very smooth texture, and it protects against that irritation. The skin it doesn't look red, or the skin of a skin type 4 to 6, it doesn't look ashen and dry. Niacinamide is wonderful for as a moisturizing ingredient. So these ingredients I'm telling you so that you can start looking at your products and know which products should be used on dry skin. So let's talk about the occlusive. This is the oil base. This is the oil phase. The one previously was the water phase. So you want to form a thin layer of an occlusive product, which is an oil base. So it will lock that moisture deeper into the layers of the skin. So petrolatum, mineral oil. Now remember, this is for dry skin. Okay, triglycerides, silicone, like dimethicone, cyclomethicone, lanolin, cetyl alcohol, sterile alcohol. Those are your two alcohols, are your fatty alcohol. There's a big difference from the drying and the fatty alcohol. You want to have humectants that are going to increase the hydration by attracting water and holding it within the stratum corneum. So look for glycerin, sodium lactate, sodium, here we go with my pronunciation, the pyridolidonic carbo whatever acid, which we call PCA. Your hyaluronic acid is phenomenal for attracting water to the skin. Everyone knows about hyaluronic acid. Potassium lactate is going to increase the hydration. Ammonium lactate, sorbitol, urea, polyglycerol, methacrylate. And now we're talking about your AHA, your lactic that's in products, your glycolic, your tartaric acid. Now, this continues to, AHA continues when we look at the pro after the skin has gone to its normal pH and the skin barrier is actually repaired, which only takes about a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. And these acids now will penetrate, but also be hydrating to the skin. Your emollients like glycerol stearate, lanolin, soy sterol, sunflower seed oil, great. These really contribute to the reduction of transepidermal water loss. When we look at irritants, the irritating acetone, very irritating, and a lot of medical offices use it to remove the acid mantle so that when they do a chemical peel, it will actually penetrate deeper into the layers of the skin. Now that acid mantle, if it's healthy, will rebound. So it's just a quick, like, okay, let me take off this acid mantle so that I can get a better peeling experience. We know that alcohol, we mentioned propylene glycol. We talked about the AHA, sodium lauryl sulfate. We talked about that you find usually in cleansing gels, and especially the foamy ones. It can actually strip the oils off the skin and leave the skin dry and irritated. Benzalkonium chloride is also an ingredient that will irritate the skin. So let's talk about enzyme, the activity for a natural desquamation. So I am going to talk about the ingredients, and it's really going to be a protocol that you would use when a client comes in with that dry skin to help to bring it to its optimum state of a pH 4.5 to 5.5. After cleansing, we want to use a degreaser. The degreaser, the main objective here is to remove any residual makeup, oil, or debris that is left behind after cleansing. So, and we want to remove that protective layer, remember I mentioned, temporarily, so that now that your exfoliator will be able to remove the excess layers of dead cells. The enzymes, basically enzymes are natural fruit enzymes papain, bromelain. You'll find enzyme like pumpkin. So there's a lot of enzymes. I chose to use a combination of papain and bromelain, which is your papaya and your pineapple, to help speed up the natural skin renewal process. It's going to relieve the irritation, it's going to relieve the inflammation, and now the skin is going to be really nice and smooth, and it's going to open the skin up to receive the next state, which might be a serum or whatever it is, a mask that you're going to put on the skin, whatever that may be, the skin now is open to receive and actually absorb the next product that you're going to put on the skin. So remember, an enzyme always have to have an activator. Most enzymes use water. I chose not to use water for the for this fruit enzyme. I chose to use a activator that has a lot of vitamins, because I'm trying to not only hydrate, but also bring that skin, a dry skin, to a more healthier state, but also stimulate collagen production and all. So, well, I guess I'm ahead of myself. Let's get back to the exfoliation with the enzyme. When we have the papain, it's a proteolytic. That is going to proteolytic, it's going to dissolve the proteins. So you're going to have anti-inflammatory response. It's going to support that wound healing. And like I said, it's from papaya. Then your bromelain from pineapple is also a proteolytic. So it's going to dissolve the cysteine proteins. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, years ago, they used to have a meat tenderizer and used to pound the heck out of the steak and sprinkle it on. Well, that's what bromelain is doing to the proteins of the skin, breaking it down to make it dissolve and help to, you know, that inflammation to be reduced and support the wound healing. And like I said, this is from the pineapple. So I talked about the activator, but I want you to see the vitamins are A, B, C, D, and E. It's going to give you that extra hydration and calm the skin, because again, a dry skin can be itchy and irritated. So now it's going to calm the skin. And this is what you would add to that fruit mask and do a customized treatment for your client. So the panthenol that is promoted in this product is a regenerative ingredient. It moisturizes. It's from the B5 vitamin family, the B family group. The vitamin E, we know, is an antioxidant, and it's going to add the oil to the skin, the oil that you need to that skin to lock in the moisture that you need as well. It has vitamin A, and I'm breaking all the vitamins down so you can recognize what each vitamin does and understand how in the long run that skin is going to be jam-packed with ingredients that are going to make that skin glow when you finish. A is an antioxidant, but it's regenerative. It gets those cells to move and get rid of the cells to produce new healthy cells. It prevents the lipid from actually being decreased. So the source is the retinol palmitate. Your vitamin C, another antioxidant. And you know, if you're around the sun, especially here in Arizona, in the environment, you need something that are going to kill those free radicals. So your vitamin C, your vitamin A. But the vitamin C is going to support the collagen synthesis, and that source is ascorbic acid. Your vitamin D3 is going to boost the immune system within the cell to support wound healing. And I'm not going to, that's an ergocalciferol ingredient. That's the name of the ingredient. And hyaluronic acid, hydrophilic, attracts moisture, hydrates, and that's from your sodium hyaluronate. The mask that you're in this protocol to use is a professional mask, and it's a pro-exfoliation mask that has your vitamin C, chamomile extract, which is, soothes and provides antibacterial properties, marine collagen. It's going to protect the skin's elasticity, as well as restore the normal cell metabolism within those cells. Jojoba oil, it reconditions skin and provides the barrier with protection and balances the oil production. So as you can see, the ingredients, all these ingredients target dry skin. So it's putting back what was lost from not having the hydration or the oil that wasn't in that product. So because of you guys listening to this webinar, I want to introduce a lot of you that not familiar with the products, but I want to introduce it to you by giving a special. So the special is you'll have your exfoliating pads, there are 25 exfoliating pads, your fruit enzyme powder with that VitaGel we talked about that has all of those vitamins, the A, B, C, D, and E vitamins for $99. It would regularly be $114 for those three products. So it's a reduction of $15. But now, okay, I'm giving you a bonus of 2 free post-exfoliating masks, which would be $25. So $25 plus the 15 is $40, and then your free shipping, which is another $10. So this special saves you $50. It will allow you to introduce you to the Global Skin Solutions. Some of you that are in the group already use the product. I want to give some sort of special just for you to understand, number one, how it's important to repair that pH of the skin. So this, I always tell the customer, is the best protocol to consider when a client comes in. If you're going to just do a spa facial after the mask, you're able to, add your serums or your moisturizer and your sunscreen afterwards. Normally, and I advise everyone, those masks, these fleece masks, are so concentrated with such great ingredients, it's an upsell. So normally people upsell by $20. So if their facial is, let's say, $80, the client would, you would charge a client $100, because it's really a product that is going to give results that after your service, they're going to see it and feel it immediately. And this is what you want to get used to, using products that are going to give them that wow factor. But you might have great products now, but you may be using them wrong. I want you to learn how to use your products in a way that it's consistent over a period of time, especially if you're going to do correction on the skin conditions. So I really appreciate the time that you've spent with me. we will have another webinar within the month. And we're going to go from this to a skin condition. It'll either be acne or hyperpigmentation or something in that nature. And what I'd like for you to do is to, on the comments, send me information what you would like to know more about. What is it that you're looking for? I have a team, a global team that may be able to give webinars and help you get your business to grow, because that's the bottom line. All of this is about growing your business and being able to have clients that will refer you other clients. So that is really the bottom line for me doing these webinars, because so many of you I see in the different groups have no clue to what you're doing, and you have to ask other people, and then you get more confused because everyone has a story. We all have a story. But I can tell you my story has proven to bring me a lot of success, and I will share that at another time of what I did to become very successful in a short period of time. I graduated from aesthetic school in 95, and by 2000 I opened up my own aesthetic school. But in the meantime, I had built a skincare center and had 4 estheticians, a natural nail tech, and massage therapy. And I had no one to give me any money. I started from scratch with no money. But that's another time, we'll speak about that. But I really would like for you to, any questions, just put them there within the group. And if you want to DM me, please do that. So thank you again for joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of the evening, rest of the week, and signing off.